Post-fight review to the Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena fight. I don't really know what to say about the fight. It's interesting. It's interesting how it played out. I kind of saw it playing out like that because the first fight with Amanda, she didn't have the perfect training camp and this and that and the training partners, and she didn't do enough rounds and sparring. She didn't run enough because she had COVID. I believe her. She's pretty good at fighting. Her reputation is definitely solid. She's one of the best ever. But when you actually think about it, I knew that Amanda Nunes would win this fight because Juliana Pena is more of a front runner, right? She's like those kind of fighters that, no doubt she has heart, she's tough, she's an excellent fighter. But the only reason anyone picked her in the first fight, I picked her in the first fight, was because Amanda's gas tank issue is a problem that can be addressed. It's a thing that you can look at. But who is going to exploit it? There's no one that has the ability and the tools to exploit Amanda Nunes' what do you call it? Her ability to just smash and go crazy, right? Like, look at Amanda. How many holes does she really have in her game? She's a great striker, probably the best in the division. On the ground, I don't really see too many people better than her. Juliana, okay, but that was when she was tired. And we all know that when you get tired, technique goes out the window. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to really say in this video. Like, okay, like she lost. She lost. Juliana Pena lost the fight. I thought she would lose because she's not a better fighter than Amanda. The only reason Amanda lost that fight was because of a gas tank, cardio, not really technique. She blew her load in the first round. Amanda won that first round. She knocked her down multiple times, took her back, almost finished her. Not really almost. She defended with the correct choke, with the correct protocol, with the choking mechanism. Typically, you want to go 2-on-1, or you want to push one, one of the hips. And when they have two hips and you want to push one hip in, get your back to the mat, and then turn into the choke, which means that it's not going to have any effectiveness because you're out of the hips and your back is on the mat. So there's no more choke there. The choke's effectively neutralized. She did that, and then she hip bumped, went to half guard, sweeped, went for a deep underhook on the side. But that's typically my best half. I love the half guard sweep. I love it. Like, it's the best sweep, really. Like, the half guard sweep from half guard with the deep underhook is probably the best sweep because you can use that to go to the back. You can use it to go to mount. You can use it to go back to half guard on top, or you can go to side control. Like, there's so many different variations and passing things that you can do from that half guard position. So perfect. So now that Amanda beat her in the second fight, what's gonna be the next thing? What are the UFC gonna do now? What's Dana White gonna do? Well, I can see him making an Irene Aldana fight with Juliana, or a Jermaine Durandamy fight. That would be interesting, a rematch. Or even Juliana can go down in weight and fight Valentina. Nah, I don't see that happening. I think what Dana is going to do is Valentina versus Amanda, or Valentina versus Tyler Santos 2, because I don't really see too many other contenders in the 125-pound division. What else do I think is going to happen? Dana, what you going to do? He's probably going to make the Valentina and Amanda Nunes 3 fight. And then he's going to... I don't really want to see a rematch. I don't want to see a third fight. I don't want to see a third fight. People are saying third fight, but no. Amanda just outskilled her completely. I don't see any reason for a third fight. The odds were correct. I think they should have been a bit higher. Juliana could not have beat Amanda on her best. I think that was Amanda at her worst, and that was Juliana at her best. And this fight, it was Amanda at her best and Juliana at her best. So they were both at their peak performance level. And it showed. Amanda beat her fair and square, 5 rounds. Every single round, I thought Amanda won every single round of that fight. Knocked her down multiple times. Almost finished her, but Juliana almost did catch Amanda with that armbar, so there's that. But there's so many, anyways. That is doesn't matter anymore. There's no rematch for Juliana. She's gonna have to go back to the bus, get maybe 3 fights, and then get another title shot. But by then, Amanda will probably retire. So Juliana may never get another fight with Amanda. But that's fine because they're 1-1. So maybe if she goes out there and goes on a murderer's row and destroys everybody, then Dana's going to have no choice but to give her a rematch with Amanda, right? Because then they can market it as, oh, Amanda lost in the first fight. Juliana won. Amanda won the second fight. And now in the third fight, they can market it as, I don't know if you can really market it as a 1-1 and say, oh, she beat her once and she beat her once, because if everyone really saw the second fight, there'd be no reason to see the third fight. But I think the only fight that makes sense now is Valentina and Amanda 3. That's the fight that everyone wants. That's the fight. That's the fight. That's the fight. That's what I want. I think that's what everyone else wants. Juliana, who's she fighting next? Tough one, because Irene Aldana seems like a good fighter to go out there and give her. Striker, has, ground game, but not really. Maybe a Ketlin Vieira as well. That would be interesting. Yeah, Ketlin Vieira, very good ground game. Striking's kind of suspect. I think Vieira would be interesting. That would be an interesting fight with Pena. But I don't really like that matchup because it's not really a great matchup. I don't really like that matchup. I don't like that matchup. Why don't I like that matchup? Because they both have good ground game. They both have good striking. I don't think it's going to be super fireworks. I think they're going to both cancel each other out, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a boring fight. I would rather see her fight Irene Aldana. Holly Holm, I think she should retire. There's not really much movement in the bantamweight division. Let's look at the rankings real quick for a second. I'm not really doing these videos for money. It's more so just so I can kind of just have my own take on this stuff. I know nobody's going to really give a fuck, or nobody's really even going to